Myth Anmor Ardi, the Fey Library, scholarly, magical, and aquatic adventure. The adventure takes place in a submerged Fey library, filled with ancient, magical tomes and arcane knowledge long forgotten by the world. The party's objective is to gather 4 magical books from the halls of the library, which are used to activate a portal in the central atrium. Each hall focuses on a unique theme related to knowledge: forgotten history, arcane mysteries, living knowledge, and eternal knowledge. The central atrium serves as a nexus, where the books will be placed on pedestals around a grand portal. Each book contains a piece of the puzzle needed to unlock the gateway, allowing the party to access deeper and more secretive parts of the library. Central atrium, starting point and hub. The atrium is an immense, awe-inspiring space, with crystal-clear water allowing the party to see the entire chamber, despite its vastness. Ancient, arcane symbols glow faintly on the floor and walls. In the center of the room is a grand portal, flanked by 4 book pedestals. These pedestals await the 4 magical tomes the party must collect from each of the library's halls. After each hall is completed and its book is retrieved, the corresponding pedestal will light up, and the magic of the portal will grow stronger. When all 4 tomes are gathered, the portal will fully activate. Hall of Forgotten History, history and lore-based challenges. Atmosphere. The Hall of Forgotten History feels heavy with time, as if the very air remembers ancient events. The walls are adorned with fading murals depicting long-lost civilizations, now crumbling under the weight of centuries. The water here is slightly murkier, as though time itself has left a residue. Shelves are lined with books covered in dust and decay, some of which seem ready to disintegrate if disturbed. Room 1, the Tapestry of Lost Ages lore puzzle. Description: a vast tapestry dominates the first room, depicting the history of a long-forgotten civilization. However, parts of the tapestry are frayed or missing. The challenge here is to piece together the correct events of this civilization's history to unlock the next door. Puzzle mechanics. The party must study the tapestry and notice key details, symbols, figures, and battles depicted. On closer inspection, they find fragments of the missing parts scattered around the room. These pieces can be magically rearranged to fit into the empty spaces. Successful history or investigation checks will help the party identify the correct sequence of events. High rolls reveal hints about the civilization's history. Implications: incorrect placements cause magical traps to trigger, summoning spectral guardians or causing parts of the tapestry to lash out like tendrils. When the history is correctly reconstructed, the tapestry glows and the door opens, revealing the Book of Lost Civilizations. Room 2, the Tomb of the Nameless Scholar combat puzzle. Description: the party enters a tomb where a nameless Fey scholar has been laid to rest. Ancient scrolls and tomes float around the room. The guardian of this room, a spectral scholar with vast forgotten knowledge, appears before them. It's an undead figure bound to protect the knowledge it carries. Combat puzzle mechanics. The scholar doesn't engage in physical combat but uses magic to confuse and mislead the party. Illusions, phantasms, and false copies of the scholar abound. The true challenge is to dispel these illusions and reveal the real scholar using arcana or insight checks. Complications. The illusions inflict psychic damage or temporarily drain intelligence, leaving the players disoriented. Once the true scholar is revealed, the party can engage in a final negotiation or combat. When defeated or pacified, it grants the party the Book of Forgotten Scholars. Room 3, the Archive of Silent Knowledge perception puzzle. Description: the next room is a vast, silent library. The shelves are full of books that cannot be opened, and the silence is almost oppressive. To find the book they seek, the party must break the silence of the room. Puzzle mechanics. The party needs to discover that the shelves and books are enchanted to respond to certain tones or words of power. Perception or arcana checks reveal faint magical auras around specific books, indicating they contain the answers. By chanting the right spells, singing specific tones, or playing certain musical notes, they can unlock the correct book. Complications. Disturbing the wrong book releases a burst of sound that deafens or disorients the party, and they must spend time recovering before continuing. When the correct sequence is performed, a hidden alcove reveals the Book of Silent Secrets. Room 4, the Hall of Ancient Remembrance, memory-based puzzle. Description: this room is filled with statues, each depicting a long-lost hero, scholar, or king from ancient times. However, the statues are cracked and weathered. The puzzle here is to remember who each figure was and what role they played in the ancient world. Puzzle mechanics. The party must piece together the identities of the figures by recalling the clues they found throughout the hall. History or insight checks allow players to identify the statues. The higher the roll, the more accurate the information they recall. Correctly identifying the statues allows them to place them in the right positions in the room, activating the magic in the chamber. Complications. Incorrect placements cause the statues to animate and attack the party, forcing them to fight. When the statues are correctly placed, the Book of Remembrance is revealed. Hall of Arcane Mysteries, Magic and Spellcraft Challenges. The Hall of Arcane Mysteries crackles with latent magic. Glowing glyphs and arcane sigils float through the water, and the walls seem alive with magic energy. Shelves and podiums hold ancient spellbooks, magical trinkets, and items of great arcane significance. The air is charged, making it difficult to concentrate for those unskilled in the magical arts. Room 1, the Rune Circle Arcane Puzzle. Description: a large, magical circle dominates the floor of the room. Its outer edges are inscribed with glowing runes, but many of them are incomplete. The party must solve the puzzle by completing the runic sequence. Puzzle mechanics. The party must use their knowledge of arcane symbols to finish the rune circle. Success depends on recognizing patterns in the symbols. Arcana checks reveal details about the missing runes and how to place them. Incorrect rune placements disrupt the magic, causing bursts of energy to lash out, inflicting force damage or altering the environment. When the runes are correctly placed, the circle activates, and a central platform rises, revealing the Book of Arcane Circles. Room 2, the Labyrinth of Wards Trap Combat Puzzle. Description: a twisting labyrinth of corridors filled with magical wards that trigger different effects if disturbed. Some are defensive spells, while others are outright traps. The party must navigate the maze while avoiding or disarming the wards. Puzzle combat mechanics. The wards emit various effects, such as Wall of Force, Fireball, or Hold Person. The challenge is to recognize these spells before triggering them. Arcana or investigation checks can reveal where wards are hidden, and successful checks can help disarm or bypass them. Complications. Triggering too many wards at once might release a magical guardian or initiate a cascade of spells. At the heart of the labyrinth, the party finds a pedestal with the Book of Wardcraft, granting them insight into defensive magics. Room 3, the Mirror of True Form Illusion Roleplay Puzzle. Description: a massive enchanted mirror fills the next room, and as the party approaches, they see their reflections distort into strange and unusual forms. The challenge here is to see through the illusions and discover their true selves. Puzzle mechanics. The mirror plays on the party's insecurities and desires, showing them idealized or nightmarish versions of themselves. The party must make wisdom saving throws or insight checks to see through the illusions and determine their true forms. Complications. Those who fail to see through the illusion may find their reflections attack them, or may begin to believe the illusions are real, hindering their progress. Once the party overcomes the illusions, the mirror shatters, revealing the Book of Reflections, containing secrets of illusion magic. Room 4, the Conflux of Elements Combat Puzzle. The final room in the Hall of Arcane Mysteries is an elemental chamber where the 4 classical elements, fire, water, air, and earth, are magically infused into the room. The elements swirl and clash, and the party must balance or control them to access the final book. Combat puzzle mechanics. Elementals of fire, water, air, and earth guard the room. The challenge is to either defeat them or use magic to bind or balance the elements. Arcana or elemental spells can be used to disrupt the elementals or bind them back into the room's structure. Applications. Failing to balance the elements results in dangerous magical feedback, causing elemental explosions or shifting the environment drastically. When the elementals are defeated or bound, the Book of Elemental Arcana is revealed. Hall of Living Knowledge, Organic Evolving Challenges. This hall is alive. The walls pulse with a faint biological rhythm, and the books on the shelves are living organisms, breathing, pulsing, and sometimes moving on their own. The water here feels warmer and filled with organic particles, as if the library itself is a living entity. The hall constantly shifts, with new pathways appearing as others close. Room 1, the Garden of Growing Thoughts Botanical Puzzle. Description: the room is a massive undersea garden where thoughts and ideas take the form of growing plants. These plants are magically attuned to respond to specific ideas, but they have grown wildly out of control. The party must prune and shape the plants to reveal the path forward. Puzzle mechanics: the party must recognize which plants represent certain ideas and cut back or cultivate them in the right way. Nature, arcana, or insight checks help identify the magical properties of each plant and which ones need to be adjusted. Complications: incorrectly pruning or nurturing the wrong plants causes them to grow out of control, creating hazardous terrain or aggressive plant creatures. When the plants are properly tended, a hidden passage opens, revealing the Book of Growing Minds, a tome filled with insights on magical botany. Room 2, the Swarm of Collective Wisdom Combat Skill Challenge. Description: a room filled with millions of glowing jellyfish-like creatures, each representing a fragment of knowledge. They swarm and shift constantly, forming intricate patterns and shapes. The challenge is to collect enough fragments of wisdom without being overwhelmed by the swarm. Puzzle combat mechanics: the party must collect specific knowledge from the swarm, but disturbing too many of the creatures at once causes the swarm to attack. Dexterity checks or ranged abilities may be required to pluck knowledge from the swarm without triggering aggression. Arcana or nature checks help identify key patterns to follow. Complications: if the swarm becomes agitated, it lashes out with psychic attacks, inflicting mental damage and confusion. Once the correct knowledge is gathered, the Book of Collective Thought manifests at the center of the room, revealing truths about shared consciousness. Room 3, the Living Tome Roleplay Combat Hybrid. Description: in this chamber, a massive book sits on a pedestal, but this is no ordinary tome. It's alive, sentient, and aware. The Living Tome communicates telepathically, asking the party riddles and questions about the nature of knowledge itself. If the party fails to answer correctly, the book becomes hostile. Puzzle mechanics: the party must engage in a philosophical debate with the Living Tome, answering questions about knowledge, life, and the nature of learning. Persuasion, insight, or arcana checks can help the party convince the book to cooperate. If the party fails to answer the tome's questions, it becomes hostile, attacking with magical energy or summoning animated books to defend itself. If they successfully debate or defeat the tome, it willingly offers the Book of Living Lore, granting deep insights into sentient knowledge. Room 4, the Brain Coral of Memory Mental Perception Puzzle. Description: the final room contains a giant, glowing brain coral. This coral is a living repository of memories and knowledge, but it is fragile and easily disturbed. The party must carefully extract the memory they need without damaging the coral. Puzzle mechanics: the party must use arcana or medicine checks to carefully interact with the coral and retrieve the right memory. Failing checks risks damaging the coral, causing it to release a psychic backlash that confuses or stuns the party. Complications: damaging the coral too much could cause it to withdraw completely, locking the party out of the memory they need. When the correct memory is extracted, the Book of Ancient Memories is revealed, providing the final piece of knowledge from this hall. Hall of Eternal Knowledge, Timelessness, Immortality, Perpetuity. The air, or water, in the Hall of Eternal Knowledge is thick with the feeling of age, yet it feels untouched by time. The architecture is grand and ancient, filled with towering statues, never-fading murals, and seemingly endless corridors. Everything feels suspended in a timeless moment. Strange celestial lights softly illuminate the space, and occasionally the distant chime of an ancient bell echoes through the halls, marking no particular time. Room 1, the Temporal Loop Time-Based Puzzle. The first room is a grand circular chamber with a central hourglass that continuously flips itself over. The walls are inscribed with countless dates, moments, and significant events from history, some of which haven't even happened yet. As the party steps inside, they notice that time feels strange, with their movements and thoughts occasionally repeating. Puzzle mechanics: the party must break free of a temporal loop, where time repeats itself endlessly, unless they can manipulate the hourglass or figure out the right sequence of actions to escape. The party retains knowledge of their previous actions, but objects in the room reset. Clues to break the loop. The inscriptions on the walls may provide hints about historical events, suggesting certain moments in time need to be manipulated or aligned in a specific way. Characters proficient in Arcana or history might recognize that time-based spells or actions could influence the loop. Complications. With each reset, some conditions in the room might change subtly, such as the appearance of new details or symbols. Taking too long to solve the puzzle results in time fatigue, causing disorientation or slowed movement. Once the party successfully manipulates the hourglass or sequences their actions correctly, time stabilizes and the room opens. The Book of Temporal Wisdom floats down from the ceiling as the way forward unlocks. Room 2, the Infinite Staircase, Endurance Perception Puzzle. Description: the second room is an enormous staircase that seems to spiral upward infinitely. No matter how far the party travels, they seem to make no progress, as if the staircase loops back on itself endlessly. Puzzle mechanics. The party must figure out how to break free of the staircase's illusion of eternity and make real progress. The solution may involve stepping off the staircase entirely or stopping movement completely, accepting the eternity, and focusing on something else in the environment. If the party continues to ascend without solving the puzzle, they may start to experience exhaustion or penalties. When the party breaks the illusion, the staircase shifts into its true form, a short path leading to an upper chamber where they find the Book of Infinite Paths. Room 3, the Eternal Scholar, Roleplay Combat Hybrid. Description: a grand study where an immortal scholar, Calaxis, is cursed to record all knowledge for eternity. Calaxis doesn't acknowledge the party's presence at first, instead continuing to write. The challenge is to convince or defeat Calaxis to gain the Book of Eternal Knowledge. Puzzle combat mechanics. One role-playing with Calaxis. The party can attempt to negotiate or debate with Calaxis to gain the book. Persuasion, Arcana, or history checks will help. Offering a unique piece of knowledge, engaging in philosophical debate, or suggesting a way to break Calaxis' curse may win the scholar's favor. 2 combat option. If the party attempts to take the book by force, Calaxis will retaliate with high-level spells and summon knowledge-based constructs to defend the tome. Complications. Calaxis might ask the party to prove their worth by offering a secret, belief, or memory. If combat drags on, Calaxis may retreat into a metaphysical space, forcing the players to pursue them into a realm of pure knowledge. When the party persuades or defeats Calaxis, they gain the Book of Eternal Knowledge and the exit opens. Room 4, the Cycle of Eternity, Final Puzzle Encounter. Description: the final room is a massive, circular chamber with a giant celestial clock at the center. The hands of the clock represent different ages or epochs, and the walls depict the rise and fall of civilizations. Puzzle mechanics. The party must manipulate the celestial clock to either stop or complete a cycle, representing mastery of eternal knowledge. Arcana, history, or insight checks will help the party understand how to align the clock's hands with the right epochs, or deactivate certain glyphs. Complications. Incorrect manipulation of the clock may cause time resets or shifts, aging or de-aging the characters temporarily. When the clock is solved, the portal to the final area of the tower is revealed, and the Book of Cyclic Lore is awarded, completing the party's journey through the Hall of Eternal Knowledge. Final thoughts. Each hall offers unique challenges that reflect the nature of the knowledge contained within. Players will need to engage in a mix of combat, role-playing, puzzles, and problem-solving to succeed. This adventure is designed to emphasize both mental challenges and the idea that knowledge is as much about growth and understanding as it is about power and control. Encourage your players to think deeply about the themes in each room, allowing them to explore the nature of knowledge, time, magic, and life.